that song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1163. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valleymont. Today we're in Podcastro Valleymont. Yesterday we were in Podcastro Valleyton. Pleasanton. I like to play with words and smack different names of towns together and then mess with them.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And also, this show's, 1163, and today we hear from Chely Shoehart.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Floyd the Floorman. John Deere the Engineer. And we bring you the wonderful segment. It's called WOW SCHATZ WOW. I think I meant to talk about something that happened to me on Saturday. I talked about it at the beginning of the last show, but there was more to say. I went to this thing, it was called August Fest.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And that's sort of a play on the word Oktoberfest, but it's in August. Isn't that cool? And there was lots of beer
Mike's
that was made
Daily
by a San
Podcast.
Leandro brewery by the name of 21st Amendment. And it is a huge brewery. You can go in and do tasting. I don't mean to give them a free plug, but I've met the owners. They're really nice, so whatever. Hey, so what was cool was they had a shuttle that went from BART. So I basically didn't have to drive. I just got on BART, went to San Leandro, got on the shuttle, and then went to now the shuttle driver, and it was like a bus, nice plush bus with like the leather seats, not too big, one of those smaller ones. And the bus driver, we start talking, and he says that he used to live in Beverly Hills, and he once met Jack Palance in a weird sort of situation. I think his son was playing soccer in one of the soccer leagues. Young kid, AYSO, and Jack Palance was there with his grandson. And he just said hi to him. Hey, you're Jack Palance. He's like, yes, I'm Jack Palance. City Slickers is a horrible movie. Don't go see it. I can do a one-arm push-up. So we talked about Jack Palance for a little while we were driving to the brewery. And there's nothing better than being in a bus, driving to a brewery, and someone walking in right now. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the kitchen shop supervisor. I hate beer. Why do you hate beer? It's not that good. It's like bitter, and it's like stuff like old white guys drink. Or hipsters. Hipsters? Yeah. And I don't have enough tattoos to drink beer. What are you saying? The women that drink beer, they have a lot of tattoos. No, I didn't see a lot of women with tattoos at this thing. I saw a lot of women. I was surprised, because usually when I talk to any women about beer, they're always, I like wine. Or I like, stronger alcohol, hard alcohol, the whiskey, the vodka, and gin, and all the fun, Rat Packy type stuff. And they just don't like beer. But there were a lot of women there enjoying the beer. Oh, and then a U2 tribute band was playing. And it's funny because, look who else just walked in. Oh my, this is Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere the Engineer. U2 was a great band. Yes. Yeah, because, alright, it looks like U2 now, millennials don't like U2 for some reason. I think they probably were overexposed. We did play a lot of U2 in the 90s and early O's, so they probably just got sick of it. Overplaying songs! Redundant! Repetitiousness! Yeah, you know how they overplay music, so I think a lot of millennials got sick of it, and they're like, who cares about U2? Who cares about Madonna, too? They don't care about Madonna, so I was talking to a millennial about U2, and all of a sudden this band, this U2 cover band, suddenly played Vertigo, and she lights up and she's like, yes, I love that song. So, all right, maybe that's later U2. That's How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. And she said, I also like Beautiful Day. So that was the album previous. That was All That You Can't Leave Behind. But I had so much fun. Addendum with Kevin was there. It was great. But you know what? As I pound this piano, I'm talking to you and playing this piano simultaneously. Did you know that? I never said that before on this show, huh? Yeah. I'm playing the crap out of this piano. And I'm playing crap. Like crap. So, time to get to the segment called Emails from Email and Your Comment Not So Comments.
Oh my god!
Email for email and your and not so comments.
My email, by the way, is Mike Matthews. No, wait, it's not. Mike's Daily Podcast at gmail.com. That's what it is. Yeah. And you can find that also at mikesdailypodcast.com. There's links to the emails and all the places that you can comment, like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and, well, I'm not on Snapchat anymore. That just irritated me. Because I'm an old 40-somethings. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, well, so this guy commented on, so he has never listened to my podcast before. Ever. In fact, he said this at one time.
So Mike has a podcast that it has some hilarity in it that I've not yet heard, actually. But anyway, we'll talk later. Well, some people have heard it. I know that. More people than have heard mine.
So he finally listened to a podcast, and he said the following. He liked it on Facebook, and then he said, LOL, 20 minutes for chicken. Oh, he was talking about the last podcast where I was discussing going to Union City on Friday, and it was like a freaky Friday there. There were all kinds of freaks walking around. And, you know, I don't mean to be judgmental, but even you would look at them and go, what the? Like, the people were driving weird, and it's just a strange place. Because it's a strip mall. And it's not like a completely run-down, graffitied strip mall, this marketplace in Union City. It's actually kind of nice looking, but it just attracts a strange brew of folk. And I go into their Safeway to get their $5 Friday chicken stuff, and it took 20 minutes because the girl was brand new, and I was saying she was young, that she probably had never even been in a supermarket before because she kind of didn't know, like, certain things, like you need to put a sticker on the food that is being purchased so that they can ring it up, but all the little technical things that you see most Safeway workers do with so much ease. She was having difficulty with it. But you know what? Dealing with me, I was super patient with her. Didn't go nuts or anything. I was super nice. And you know, by doing my order, she learned something and became better at doing what she does. I don't know. Or it was just a pure hell and torture for her. I don't know. I think she was smiling the whole time. Maybe she was enjoying it. Getting the chicken. It certainly smells great back there. Here's the interesting thing, though, which I felt bad for because there were all these other workers around her back there, and none of them were lifting a finger to help her. Like, she was asking questions, trying to learn what to do, because it looked like it was maybe her first day, and no one was helping her. Made no sense. So this guy, who I never thought had listened to the podcast before, he said 20 minutes for chicken, LOL, FWP. This guy likes the abbreviations, so I had to look up FWP, and it means first world problems. And then he said, he quoted me as saying, thanks for letting me share, because after I vented about the 20-minute chicken thing, I said, thanks for letting me share. So thank you so much for that. Then he posted on Facebook today that he heard shots in Oakland. So, that's not good. Well, we wish him luck. But if you'd like to comment or anything, there you can go, mikesdailypodcast.com. Joan Jett covered Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. What? This is breaking news. No, it's not. It's old news. She did it long ago. But there was an interesting thing that came out. Kelly Cutright, she has decided it is time to speak out about the anguish she suffered at the hands of her gymnast coach. The South Carolina woman's former coach, William McCabe, began abusing her in 1999, according to court records. That was the year after USA Gymnastics, the sport's national governing body, was warned that McCabe might be a sexual predator. Yet not until she read an Indianapolis Star investigation 2 weeks ago did she find out that the organization had dismissed those allegations against McCabe as hearsay and filed them in a drawer in its headquarters. Now, as USA Gymnasts prepare to argue in court that sexual misconduct complaint files it compiled on 54 coaches should remain secret, Cutright contacted the Star and said she would like the files to be made public so other girls and boys don't suffer her fate. She said there's no telling how many of those coaches are still coaching. There's no telling how many of those kids could still be in danger. And they want to keep it secret? What the? Yeah. So, read about that article. That news came out today. It's ridiculous. USA Gymnastics. Also ridiculous is that I put the note that I wanted to talk about in my phone, which I can't seem to open at the moment. Oh, speaking of the Olympics, rather. So, okay, after this whole Rio thing, all right, we just lived through the Rio Olympics, right? We just experienced the whole thing. I think I'm pretty much done with the whole, it's the same thing every Olympics where people, first off, they go, okay, we got the Olympics coming up in about 6 months. The city is completely unprepared. It doesn't matter what city it is. They're always completely unprepared. Reporters go in and they find all these things that are wrong. Oh, this is wrong. That's wrong. Every time this happens, every single time now. And then the Olympics haps begin and start going on, and people are like, "Oh wow, this is exciting! Look what Michael Phelps did. Look what Bynes did, etc." All these other people, and you're like, "Oh wow, that was a great moment. Did you see that? Did you see that? Oh my gosh, that was amazing!" And then the closing ceremonies, no one cares about unless Lionel Richie sings. That was a reference to the Los Angeles Olympics of 1984, where Mr. Lionel Richie sang and the whole world smiled. He sang like reach out and touch somebody's hand, or no? Did he sing hello? I forget. He sang something. There was some song that everybody was talking about after that. But then the Olympics end and everybody talks about, oh gosh, those were the worst rated Olympics ever. The whatever network that carried them, NBC in this case, they did a terrible job. They're going to go bankrupt. Why do we ever carry Olympics anyway? It's the same thing every time. So next Olympics, I would like to just ignore them. But I would not like to ignore the Manic Street Preachers or Peachers. Have you listened to the Manic Street Preachers? They are amazing. They are a British band. They've actually been shortened down to be called the Manics, and they're huge in England. There was some weird story about their guitarist disappearing for a while, or I'll have to look that up for the next show. But anyway, check that out so that next show you'll know about the Manic Street Preachers. Fantastic band. Okay, I think we've covered enough ground. Chely Shoehart, you still don't like beer? Mike Matthews, it's disgusting. Okay. Floyd, you still love U2? The best band ever! Yes, I would agree with him. Good, John Deere, the engineer. Do your weird thing at the end of your sentence like you usually do. Okay, I think they're the best band ever. Wonderful. Let's do this segment, Wow Schatz Wow.
Wow Schatz Wow.
This happened yesterday. Oh my gosh. This would have been scary. So I was considering possibly flying to Florida to see my mom very soon. And I hate when I hear about stories like this, but reports of a gunman opening fire at LAX, it turned out to be false. Los Angeles International Airport last night, while flights to and from the airport saw major delays, even though the reports were false. It caused a panicked evacuation. A search through terminals brought no evidence of a gunman or shots fired. LA police spokesperson Andy Neiman said the reports were spurred by loud noises only, and police were still investigating to find the source of them. Airport officials said that a person wearing a Zorro costume was detained during the incident. A Zorro costume? Was he Zorro the Gay Blade? But it wasn't yet clear whether the person had any connection to the evacuation. The incident stirred chaos as hundreds of people rushed from terminals onto sidewalks and the tarmac. It left a mess with 3 terminals shut down, roads closed, and flights held in the air and on the ground. And we all know what that means when they're held in the air. They got to keep circling, and that if you've ever been in a circling plane, it's just ugh. It's like, when are we going to land? That happened in Atlanta for me one time. We couldn't land because the weather was so bad. It almost looked like we were going to turn around and have to head back to our destination. All terminals and roads into the airport had been reopened by 11 o'clock last night, about 2 hours after the initial reports, officials said, but massive backup faced travelers in their cars and in security lines. So lately it's just been, airports have been nuts. It all started this year with the whole, it was taking longer and longer to get through security. And then we had Southwest and Delta have their issues. It's just, why fly anymore? Passengers who fled had to be rescreened through security. When the incident began, scores of people could be seen on social media and on TV news running from the terminal out to the sidewalks and streets as police with rifles stormed the terminals. Many other evacuees were standing on the airport tarmac, and abandoned bags littered some sidewalks. One person said, "We were on the jetway and someone starts pushing behind us." One man was frantic, saying there was a shooter. Police officers, including one with a shotgun, eventually led passengers out of the terminal through a security gate into the parking lot where several hundred waited for the terminal to open. 90 minutes after the scare, this one person said he was still waiting for word on his flight. The incident came just days after another false alarm led to a panicked evacuation at the JFK airport in New York. In that incident, police were investigating whether an overly boisterous celebration of the Olympics, this back on August 14th, led to noises that were misinterpreted as gunfire, while the ensuing chain reaction turned into a panic as crowds ran to evacuate. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Panic on the streets of London. Panic on the streets of Birmingham. I wonder to myself, I need to listen to more Manic Street Preachers. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful, fantastic Benita, the rodeo queen, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Now, go forth and enjoy your day. And share maybe some beer with a friend. Beer.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Oh wait, the podcast picture today is of Miller Knox Park in Richmond. The sun was setting. You can kind of see the Richmond Bridge in the background. Go to Miller Knox Park if you have not been there. It's beautiful. It's sort of on this peninsula, and you see this fantastic panorama. Everything from the Richmond Bridge, you can see all the way over to the Bay Bridge and San Francisco. It's a perfect little-known spot. I was walking around the park, and nobody was around. So I think that should change. It should be overcrowded. Yes, what am I doing telling you about it? Oh well, go and have fun.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.